Okay, so today's lesson is on solving with fractions, solving equations with fractions. So just a quick a warm up on not solving, but simplifying with fractions. Let's go over that. We did that in cycle 1 and in cycle 2, and let's quickly review how do we simplify with fractions. So remember, when we simplify with fractions, we look for the common denominator, the least common denominator. Now here we have brackets. So we must first eliminate brackets before we can look for the LCD. So we are going to distribute -5 inside the brackets here. So this turns into 2 over 7x plus, now I'm going to write everything as a fraction. So 3 can be written as 3 over 1 minus, the rule for multiplying is you multiply the numerator and you multiply the denominator. So here, this is going to turn into -5 over 10x. And then this is going to turn -5 times -1 is +5. But remember, we are writing it as a fraction. So we will write it as over 1. Now we have to look for our common denominator. So here, what will be your LCD? The denominators that we were looking at is 7, 1, and 10. So the only number that works is 70. So LCD will be 70. So now we need to multiply all of these terms by something that turned all of the denominators into 70. So in the first one, we multiply this by 10. Here, we multiply by 70. Remember to use brackets when you're multiplying. Here, when we are multiplying, it's going to be 7. And here, it's going to be 70. Now we're going to continue simplifying. So this turns into 20x over 70 plus 210 over 70 minus 35x over 70. And this turns into plus 350 over 70. Now everything is over 70, so now we just have to put like terms together. So here, what are your like terms? Like terms are 20x and -35x. Remember to take the negative with it. And then you have 210 and 350. So now when we simplify and put like terms together, they will be equal to 20x minus 35x, which will be -15x, plus 210 plus 350 is 560. And all of this have a common denominator of 70. Okay, now you can pause the video, and I would like you to try the second question on your own. And when you're done, you can come back and look at the answer. Okay, so I think you have finished your question by now, and have a look. Your answer should match. If there is any error, you might see an error between the number 62. And why would that be? That's because when you're multiplying 3 inside the second set of brackets, it gets multiplied by -3. That turns it the second number into +27. So just watch out for that. Okay, now let's look at solving equations with fractions. When we solve equations with fractions, we follow the same steps. We look for a common denominator, but now it's an equation. So we have a left side of the equation and the right side of the equation. Once we find the common denominator, the only difference now is, because it's an equation, if the denominators are same, you can cross them all out. But you cannot do that when you're simplifying. This is only when you're solving, because you have a left side and right side. And the reason is, if the denominators are equal on each side of your equation, then the numerators, they automatically become equal as well. So we can just simply get rid of the denominators. And now once you get rid of the denominators, as you see here, right here, the equation doesn't have any fractions. Now it's a simple equation, and you can just simply solve that equation. Now let's look at two examples here. So in the first example, we have 3 over 4x minus 7 over 2 equals 5 over 6. Now here, what will be our LCD? LCD will be 24. So now here we need to multiply the denominators and the numerators by something so that all the denominators turn into 24. So let's look at the first set. So now here, what can we multiply this here by? This gets multiplied by 6. This gets multiplied by 12. And this gets multiplied by 4. Now let's just simplify. So this will be 18x over 24 minus 84 over 24 equals 20 over 24. Now since all the denominators are same on both sides of the equation, you can just simply cross them out. So now your equation is very simple, and we have 18x minus 84 equals 20. So now we combine like terms. Remember, when you combine like terms across the equal signs, they change signs. So I'm going to bring negative 4 to the other side. It's going to turn into positive 84. So it will be 18x equals 20 plus 84, which is 104. And now we are going to divide both sides by 18, and x equals, reduce the fraction, 52 over 9. And that's it. Now let's look at another example on the question number 2. So now here, I'm just going to zoom in. Okay. So same thing we do here. We multiply everything outside the brackets with inside the brackets. So this gets multiplied by this and this. So this turns into, remember the rule again, change this into a fraction, multiply the numerator with the numerator and denominator with denominator. So this turns into 2m over 6 plus 18 over 12 minus 10 over 3 equals negative 53 over 18. Once we do this step, that's when we figure out the LCD. So now here, the LCD will be 36. So now we need to turn each of these fractions into denominator 36. So this gets multiplied by 12. Oh, I made a mistake here. This shouldn't be 6. This should be 3 here. So I am here multiplying all of this by 12. This gets multiplied by 3. This gets multiplied by 12 again. And this gets multiplied by 2. So this turns into 24m over 36 plus 54 over 36 minus 120 over 36 equals negative 106 over 36. So all of these have the same denominator, so we can simply cross them out because it's the same on each side. Now we combine like terms. So this turns into 24m, 54 minus 120 will be negative 66 equals negative 106. Now we're going to simply combine like terms across the brackets. So we're going to move negative 66 to the other side, and it's going to turn positive. So it's going to be 24m equals negative 106 plus 66. So 24m equals negative 40. Now to solve for m, I just need to divide both sides by 24 and reduce your fraction. M is going to be negative 5 over 2. And that completes our lesson today. Please go ahead and complete the next page. The answers are posted on our homework sheet.